All right, good morning, everyone. Sean Ruggiero. Thanks for joining us on Facebook, AMS Live, or Family First Life. That's Advanced Market Sales. Today is the long-term care special. So, do we sell long-term care at Family First Life? No, Family First Life is not contracted, has not taken on that endeavor. Some of you agents might sell long-term care insurance, but that's not what this is about. This is about helping people out with alternatives to long-term care. So whether you sell long-term care insurance or not, the ability to help people out who don't have long-term care insurance is very, very important. And that's what we're going to dive into. Let's look at the statistics here. So we have three numbers. We have 75, 50, and 5%. 75% represents the number of people that will require some form of long-term care insurance in their lifetime. 50% is the statistics that shows how many of those people will have long-term care provided by a family member. Okay, so some have it at a facility, but half of them have it at their home by a family member. Why? Well, a lot of that is a symptom of people not having any sort of long-term care coverage or insurance in place. And then 5%, that's the staggering number. That represents the number of people who have long-term care insurance in place. That's really an epidemic in the United States. So if we think about, well, I have Medicare. Well, Medicare doesn't cover long-term care insurance. And if we look at why people get long-term care insurance, they get it because they are fearful of needing long-term care insurance. But when do they start looking? We've been in the houses. We've gone on final expense calls. We've gone on mortgage protection calls. When do they start looking? They start looking when it's too late. They start looking when it's too expensive, when they have a fixed budget that they can't afford it, or they're not healthy enough to get approved. So that's why we have 75% who are going to need some form of long-term care coverage in their lifetime, and half of it is having to be provided by family members. Well, this is a great opportunity to help people out and to sell more. So let's look at that right here. The financial inventory. When you sit down with someone in the home, whether it's for final expense, mortgage protection, MedSup, whatever it is, you should be using the same financial inventory or some variation of this. And there are two questions in here that are going to allow you to sell. They are keys that will unlock a ton of sales based on long-term care. The first one is this. Do you have any long-term care coverage? Yes or no? If you don't have this most recent version of the financial inventory, you can get it off of fflams.com resources, or you can email annuity@familyfirstlife.com. But it's going to ask you right here, do you have any long-term care coverage? All right? And the statistics further in that Forbes article, if you read down, it's something like 0.08%, 0.07% of companies offer long-term care coverage. So unlike I have life insurance, unlike I'm using my 401k at work, virtually no one is going to have long-term care coverage due to their business providing it. And if only 5% of people have long-term care coverage in place, and let's face it, most of the people we sit down with on a final expense side, or maybe some of the people on a mortgage protection side, have a few bruises, bangs, bumps, they're already in a fixed income scenario, they're not going to get long-term care. So this is going to be virtually everyone is going to circle no. I do not have long-term care coverage. All right, so the second question that we ask is, do you have anything that acts like insurance, right? The good old golden question. Do you have anything that acts like insurance? Something that if you were going to die, it's going to pass to your spouse free of probate. Something like a 401k, an IRA, an annuity. See, we're searching to see what assets they have. This combination of these questions will unlock how you can help them and how you can sell more. Because if they have an annuity, we can look at the annuity products, things that Athene has, Global Atlantic has, with long-term care riders to help them out. If they don't, if the answer is no, I don't have anything, then we can look at the life insurance side. We can look at IULs. We can look at even simplified issue products, things that Americo sells that have living benefits. So that's how we find it. And I'm telling you, you could sit down with anyone. You could run leads. We don't have these currently, but you could have leads that say, do you have long-term care coverage? Or if you don't have long-term care coverage, talk to me, fill out this form. You're going to be reaching literally almost 100% of the people who don't have long-term care coverage, who will be needing help. Are you worried about long-term care coverage? Think about when you talk to your friends and your family. Hey, are you worried about losing money in retirement? And now we're getting into their personal information, right? There's always a little bit of that that we have to battle. We're combating their broker. We're combating their financial advisor. Think of the hurdles that you have to sell an annuity, all right? Or how about life insurance? Do you have any life insurance in place? Now we sound like the life insurance salesperson, right? Okay, this is different. This is a different angle that I encourage you. Do you have anything in place for long-term care? See, we're finding that that's a big problem with people nowadays. And we have two ways of helping people, either leveraging assets that they have for retirement or through long-term care, critical illness, terminal illness, stuff that Kim's going to talk to you about a little bit later on, that they can use these riders. They can leverage that in order to satisfy the need for long-term care coverage. So the solutions that we have on the annuity side. So if question A, I don't have any long-term care coverage in place. Question B, I do have a 401k, an IRA, an annuity, whatever it might be. Great, we need to be looking at these products right here because we can help you. And I have an interview with Jay Rosenkrantz in a little bit later in the call where he talks about Athene's products and how they can satisfy long-term care alternatives. But then how about if they don't? How about if question A, no, I don't have any long-term care coverage. Question B, I don't have any retirement assets, right? How do you help me? No problem, we can help you. IULs, life insurance. And again, that's kind of got two subsets. You've got your IULs, the fully underwritten ones, the ones that we do for Global Atlantic, for example, or Mutual of Omaha. And then you've got your simplified issue. Americo has a fantastic suite on both their HMS series and their final expense with living benefits, okay? So if you haven't talked to your manager or heard Bobby Bridges explain those products, great products. Keep in mind, some of this stuff is state specific, whether they offer chronic illness or terminal illness, but life insurance can be used as a way to bridge that. So now when we go into the home, now when we're talking to people, family members, friends, whatever it might be, and we're trying to sell them insurance or sell them annuities, we can also try to help them with long-term care because let's face it, 75% of Americans need it, only 5% of Americans have coverage. That's a huge gap, something that you can solve and you can feel good about doing it and you can make a lot more money for you and your family in a good way too, all right? So let's continue on. This is gonna be a good special. We appreciate everybody being on and we're gonna learn a lot. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's Facebook AMS Live call. Today is July 11th, and I'm going to kick it off with our issue paid numbers. So here is week 27 of IUL's issue paid. We have Christopher D with 2,347, Crystal P with 4,353, David P with 950, Gerald G with 2,182, Gregory K with 1,369, Isaiah T with 4,509, Israel W with 4,606, Janine A with 2 here, 1 for 4,690, 1 for 3,068, Jesse P with 7,969, Jose G with 878, Katisha D with 4,165, Mark K with 3,774, Stephen K with 1,764, Eufema E with 17,506, and Yuli G with 2,056, bringing our weekly total for IULs to an all-time high at 66,186. Then for issue paid annuities, these are annuities issued from June 27th to July 3rd. We have Lisa P with 485,458. Spencer F with 2 here, 1 for 353,266 and 1 for 258,215. Robert R with 188,186, Tiffany G with 172,362, Christina B with 151,127, Anshul C with 129,420, Michael M with 120,000, Stephanie C with 106,274, Jamin A with 100,000, Quinn H with 100,000, Don S with 87,000, Michael P with 82,374, Sulanch C with 80,000, Joseph B with 70,000, Don S again with 69,370, Dennis B with 64,169, Danielle B with 58,000. $53,924. Jamie M. and Silvana P. with a split on $55,753. James F. with $53,876. Terry E. with $40,000. Jeffrey E. with $25,761. Rebecca B. with $25,251. Ronald M. with $25,085. Paul M. with $23,298. Sen M. with $20,000. Matt T. with $18,737. Jeffrey E. with $11,548. Terry E. with $10,505. Bianca T. with $10,000, and Samantha D. with $10,000, bringing our weekly total just over $3 million. Great week, you guys. I love seeing all those names, as hard as it is to read down that list. But such a great leaderboard, having so many people issue pay annuities this week. Thanks so much. That's all I have for you this week. We'll see you next time.
All right, everyone. Hello, this is Sean Ruggiero, Family First Life, AMS Live, the Advanced Market Sales. I'm talking to the hardest working guy in annuities, Jay Rosenkrantz. Jay, you are at a hotel getting ready for your next meeting in, remind me?
Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Fantastic. They stole the Sonics. That's what I know about Oklahoma City. But I digress. This is the long-term care special for the AMS Live. We're talking all about long-term care, but Jay, not long-term care like Genworth, one of your former employers years ago used to sell, but long-term care alternatives. Why? Because as I mentioned in the beginning, statistically, in our demographic, only 5% of our clientele have long-term care. So that's a big need. Yet about 70% are going to need some form of long-term care before they die. So if we have this need, the supply and demand, we're way out of whack. Why is that? Well, one, some people don't qualify. Two, they apply when they're 50, 55, 60, 65 years old, and it's just way too expensive. So we can do something. We've talked in this episode about how we can use life insurance, living benefits, critical illness riders, things of that nature. But what about if they have assets? What about if they have an IRA, a 403B, a 457, a 401k, something that we can move over into an annuity? You're going to talk to us about the income doubler, or two products that have the power to help offset long-term care troubles in retirement. So I'm going to let you rip, Jay. We've got some illustrations to go through. As always, we're very, very excited and thankful to have you on the call. So please educate us on how Athene's products can help people with long-term care.
Very good, and thanks for the intro, Sean, and appreciate the time. So I want to start just by giving a little background and kind of re-emphasizing the facts that you went over on LTC, and then I'll hit on the fact that you can use an annuity to help hedge against the cost of long-term care. And then finally go through an example to show how we can actually do that. So a good article that I'm going to reference is a recent Forbes article that's called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of LTC. And Sean should have that link in case someone wants to reach out to him to get more details on that article. But the bad, referenced in the title, basically just talks about the old way of thinking of LTC. Things such as, well, if I have Medicare, that's going to pay for LTC insurance, which is not the case. I don't need to worry about LTC because my kids are going to take care of me, which they may or may not be able to either have the means or the time to do. Well, I can just gift away my assets and then Medicaid will take care of me. Well, they've managed to put in a 5-year look back into LTC to help prevent that. And then I'll never need LTC. And that one, it's just people get caught in their ways, and technology and healthcare have come a long way from, it used to be when you turned 60, you died of a heart attack, right? And now today's demographic is going to live until age 85, and then they're probably going to get dementia. So, as you mentioned, 70% of retirees are going to need some form of long-term care, and that's the beginning of the ugly, if you will. The average cost of a nursing home, $86,000 a year as of 2017, and,
Wow.
and as we mentioned, Medicare does not pay for LTC.
Yep.
Medicaid only steps in when you become financially destitute, which no one wants. Especially if they've lived a comfortable lifestyle. And LTC expenses can essentially erode a lifetime of savings, and
Mhm.
no one wants that. And the kids, as we mentioned, either incapable of providing that care, or just don't have the means. So the good news is that you can plan ahead in order to get ahead of the rising cost of LTC. Essentially, take inventory of of your assets and your spending, and then both now and in the future, create some plan details. Most importantly, you want to find a pro that can help you with focus on retirement planning. You know, the best golfers, best tennis players in the world have a coach to help them. It's not out of the realm of possibility to have an agent or a rep or an advisor to help you with things that you're not versed on. So one of the things is, folks, they talk about long-term care insurance, and it's certainly a great tool to offset long-term care expenses, but it's fraught with some negatives for sure.
Mhm.
One being that it gets expensive, and Sean, as you mentioned, the older you get, the older you wait to buy it, it becomes exponentially expensive. And some folks have had in-force policies that have seen 40% increases in their policies. So even after you buy it, there could be an increase in cost. Some folks don't qualify for long-term care insurance, and finally, some folks are reticent about getting long-term care insurance because they feel like, well, what happens if I don't end up using it? Am I just wasting money? And so, over the past few years, there's been some in the industry, some hybrid products, if you will, that have come out both on the life insurance side and on the annuity side. And at Athene, we have two contracts, the Ascent and the Agility, both that have confinement doublers that are available in most states in the U.S. And the primary way that they work is both those contracts have guaranteed income that's available to a client for the rest of their life. Um, if they in fact have to go into a facility, a nursing care facility, then we will essentially double that guaranteed income. On Ascent, we'll double it for up to 5 years or until the
Mhm.
account value goes to zero. On Agility, we've waived that 5-year restriction, so Agility will double the payments up until the account value goes to zero. That could be more than 5 years. So a nice little feature there on Agility. Um, after the account value goes to zero, then those payments revert back to the original payments. So it's a great way. It's certainly not a be all end all to replace long-term care insurance, but it's a great way for folks that don't qualify for it or don't want to pay for it. Great way to hedge against long-term care insurance. And I have an illustration that I can go through that shows an example of a client that purchases an Agility fixed
Mhm.
index annuity with the purpose of potentially using it for a nursing home stay. Now,
Okay.
the nice thing is that if they don't have to go into a nursing home, that benefit can just go either to be used for guaranteed income, or it can be used as a death benefit.
Right.
And so in this particular example, we took a 65-year-old client and showed he put $250,000 into the Agility 10 contract.
Mhm.
And on page 3, it shows the index strategies that we chose. We chose a mixture of all 4 of our 2-year strategies. So we have a 2-year point-to-point strategy. We have a 2-year Janus index, a 2-year BNP, and a 2-year Morningstar. We basically just put 25% into each of those strategies. And if you move forward to page 8,
Mhm.
you can see that over the past 10 years, uh, putting those 4 strategies together gives you an average interest rate of just under 4% a year. So we put $250,000 in at age 65, and then we assumed in the illustration that we started taking income out at age 80 because the client went into a nursing home at age 80, and the average age of a client going into a nursing home is age 79.
Okay.
So it's a pretty typical example of what could happen. So down there towards the bottom at age 80, you can see that lifetime income withdrawals would begin at, assuming that 3.93% interest rate, the lifetime guaranteed income would be just under $41,000.
Yeah.
However, if we went into a nursing home, we would effectively double that amount to just under $82,000. The nice thing about the agility is once you get into the income phase, the payments increase every year or every other year, depending on how your index strategies are set up.
Yeah.
So in this example, we're in all 2-year strategies. So you're going to get a pay raise every 2 years based on the increase that you received in your index strategies. So
And we could change, just let the agents know, annually, you get a report, you can meet with the client. If they feel they want to go to 1-year strategies because they're going to start drawing out money, they can do that.
That's absolutely right. So if they want to see a pay raise every year, they certainly have the ability to move from 2-year strategies to 1-year strategies or have a mix of both.
Right, right.
And so in this example, we see that we got a pay raise at age 81 and again at age 83. And so by the time the client is 84, he's now into his 5th year in the nursing home. His income has increased from $41,000 to $48,000. And again, we're using the same just under 4% return as the hypothetical. So, but the nice thing is we're able to double those increasing payments. So we started out offsetting the nursing home costs with $82,000 a year. And by the time we got to year 5, that number increased to $96,000 a year. So all told, by the time we got to the account value being 0, we were able to apply 5 years of payments to the nursing home to offset the cost of nursing home. It ended up being a total of, it's a total of $436,751. So if you average that out over a 5-year period, that averages out to be about $86,000 a year that we were able to use towards the nursing home cost, which ironically is the average cost of a nursing home in the U.S. The nice thing is the average stay in a nursing home is about 1.5 years for a man, 2.5 years for a woman, so average of about 2 years. So you may not have to use that feature for 5 years, depending on the case. But even better than that is if I don't go into a nursing home at all, I'm just letting my benefit base grow. So in this example, if I ended up living until age 85, so I was in the contract for 20 years, it grew at just under 4%. My death benefit would have grown from $250,000, which was my initial premium, to $840,000, more than triple the amount what I started with, and that gets paid out to the beneficiaries over a 5-year period. So it's not like, well, if I don't have to go into a nursing home, I'm just throwing this money down the toilet.
Right.
It's not the case at all. We can actually have a great way to pass it on to your beneficiaries.
Yeah, might be some motivation for your kids to take care of you, and then they can just pocket the money, right?
Exactly. That's exactly.
Okay, excellent. Well, the article, the Forbes, Good, Bad, and the Ugly. My favorite movie, by the way, Sergio Leone. Yeah, that's love that movie.
Yep.
It's Clint Eastwood, Eli Wallach. I think he was the ugly, and I can't remember who the bad was. But great article. We'll have that posted under the resources tab at fflams.com. The illustrations, as you see here, you can review this training also at fflams.com and go through these illustrations. And if you need help with the scenario, you can call the support desk at a theme, but also go to Ask a Specialist, highly recommended, through the CRM or through fflams.com, and we'll guide you through it. So Jay, thank you so much for having us, for being on the long-term care special here for FFL, Fem First Life AMS. We appreciate everything you do, and fantastic products. So we started in 2013. You all started in 2009. Both of us have grown tremendously, and Athene now is positioned really as, I would say, the leader in the independent brokerage space for fixed index annuities, and that's a compliment to the hard work that you all put into it, but also the products and the dedication you have to putting out the best products in the industry, which is why we're proud to represent them. And I say that because I want to reinforce to any new agents, you should feel very good when you go out there and represent Athene, not only from their financial standing, from their balance sheet, which is unprecedented, their position as a publicly held company, trade on the New York Stock Exchange, and their A rating through Fitch, Moody's, and AM Best. Is that correct?
Yes.
But
correct.
The products that they have. So Jay, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, everyone. This is the segment where we're going to talk about utilizing IULs and really permanent life insurance for long-term care. But we're going to focus on IULs because Kim is, our new director of IULs here at the AMS office. So Kim Moodhart, if you haven't met her, say hi. Kim's been doing a great job over the last couple months.
Well, couple months, yeah.
Yeah, it goes fast. And she's going to talk to you about it because this is a very important part. We talk about IULs for cash accumulation. We do that a lot. And in that scenario where we build cash accumulation, you can definitely project forward and satisfy long-term care. I have 2 IULs, fairly sizable IULs. I'm not bragging. I'm saying it's a commitment. It's something that even when I didn't have a lot of money, I wanted to put a lot of premium in IUL. Why? Because I wanted to have that tax-free retirement, but also to satisfy long-term care. But another thing that I don't think we do enough is write IULs on older people for the death benefit. That death benefit can pass on to loved ones tax-free. It can satisfy the income gap. So if I'm older, we're married, you're younger, how do we satisfy the income gap? Long-term care, IULs are perfect, but also long-term care. And then getting back to what I started with today, talking about the financial inventory, do you have any long-term care coverage, yes or no? Almost everyone's going to say no. And then what assets do you have? Well, I don't have a 401k. I don't have an IRA. Okay, that happens. It happens a lot, especially on final expense appointments. Well, we can look at this. We can also look at the America product simplified issue, but in some cases they're going to need more coverage, or you can add it on and you can look at something like an IUL. So Kim, take us through what you've prepared here to give the agents a quick debriefing on how they can use IULs for long-term care alternatives.
Yeah, so let's first look at how to take the cash money out. So, kind of a brief on this. This policy was taken out at a male, 35 years old.
And this, just to clarify, this was an actual scenario that you had recently from one of the agents.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a 35-year-old male that obviously this is showing from age 76 to 85, but a 35-year-old male, how much were they putting in the policy?
They were putting $500 a month.
Okay, $500 a month. So then project this forward. It looks like they've put in $360,000 of premium.
Yes.
So they paid to what age?
They paid till 65.
65, okay. And then here we have cash coming out. So this is total cash and policy. So at 65, they started taking money out?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so they've been taking out $125,000 a year tax-free from 65, okay, up to 76. So then run us through. They're accessing what? They're accessing the cash value of this here.
Yes, so they have, at this point, let's just say at age 80.
Okay, because it's easy. I do that too. Where the ledger stops, that's where I do the calculation, yeah.
Let's say that they need some cash for long-term care. Well, they have access to the $823,043 to access that.
Okay, so that would be a scenario really simple, straightforward. They've been using this cash for retirement income. But then, real simple, they could just write themselves a check and pay for a long-term care facility, pay for someone to help take care of them in-home, pay for a nurse to come into their home, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a really easy, straightforward scenario. What's the next scenario that you've got for us?
Yeah, so you can borrow against the death benefit.
Okay.
So,
against death benefit. So in this scenario, I would assume, and this is the same illustrations to keep it easy.
Yep, correct.
But let's say they spent this money down. Is that kind of what we're talking about, Kim?
So just kind of block that out, that it's zero.
Okay.
So they have a death benefit of $1.3 million. Well, with the accelerated access rider with Global Atlantic, you can access up to $1 million for your chronic illness, for long-term care, which is huge.
Okay, so if they maybe took more money out than the $125,000 a year, or maybe they had to pay for a kid's college, or maybe they bought a home with it. I mean, this is the flexibility of the IUL, that Swiss Army knife idea that we talk about. the cash value isn't there. They don't have enough cash to just write themselves a check. You're saying that they can borrow against the death benefit up to $1 million.
Yes, correct. If they have
Okay.
a chronic illness.
For chronic illness.
Yes,
okay,
correct.
and I know you got some slides, but can you define chronic illness real quick for
Yeah,
us?
so chronic is like Parkinson's disease versus critical, which would only pay up to $50,000, and that's more of if you have a heart attack.
Okay, got it. And that makes sense. So if you have a heart attack, you don't have a heart attack usually and end up in a long-term care facility and die 18 months later,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, a heart attack would be an example of what you call critical illness.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, okay, great. All right, so keep going here, Kim,
All
and
right.
take us to the next slide.
So let's talk about a little about the riders. Well, Mutual of Omaha and Global Atlantic have two great riders. They're very similar. With the Mutual of Omaha, it's called the Accelerated Death Benefit for Chronic Illness. And then with Global Atlantic, it's the Accelerated Access Rider. So what they both do is you can receive a portion of the death benefit to pay for your chronic illness, in return helping you with those long-term care expenses.
Okay, so the key thing about this is, one, these are two carriers that we use a lot for
correct.
IULs, right? Global Atlantic being our platinum partner. Same thing with Mutual of Omaha, they're a platinum partner of ours. Both have been around since we started the company in 2014. But these riders, the ones that allow you to borrow up to, what was it, $1 million
Yes, correct.
for chronic illness,
Yep.
critical illness, they are free. They're included.
they're
So
included
every
in
time
that.
an agent sells one of these IULs, it's going to be included.
It
with
does have to be a minimum face value of $100,000.
Okay,
So keep that
okay,
in.
so minimum
Yep.
face value of $100,000, which is pretty standard. If you're going
Yes.
below $100,000, you're probably doing a supply issue
Yes,
policy.
exactly.
Okay. All right, so that's good to know. So borrow up to $1 million of the death benefit. So even if you don't have much cash value, you can still take cash, right? And
Yep,
that's a
you
pretty
can.
cool thing, right? Okay, I like that. Great. All right, go keep going.
All
Kim.
right. So when it comes to payouts, it is paid directly to you, which is huge compared to long-term care where you're being reimbursed. So it kind of takes out where you have to, let's say you have to pay back a family member. You don't have to wait for that reimbursement.
Okay, got it. So, and that is big because if we remember back to the statistics that I opened the call with, 50% of long-term care is done by family members. Now, part of that is because they have no other alternatives, but another part of it is because that's what they prefer, right? You know, the family member wants to come in and take care of them. I'd like to think maybe my kids will want to take care of me. Chances are they might not, but I know my daughter would, right? She would be there for me. So if my daughter takes care of me when I'm old at age 50 or something, and I need long-term care, I can pay for it. And also, the reimbursement part is huge because rather than having to go get to a long-term care facility, see, a long-term care policy in most cases is only going to pay if you have coverage by a licensed, registered long-term care facility.
Yeah.
And then also you're going to have to pay for it in many cases and then get reimbursed, right?
Yeah.
In this case, the cash flow can come to you. You can just basically write yourself a check. Now there are some limits on that check that you can write.
Yeah.
What does it have to do
So
with?
it does have to be only monthly or annual installment. So you can't take that lump sum out of, let's say, $1 million if you qualify for that. You can't take it all at once. So due to the IRS per diem limit.
Okay, so to keep you, so you don't get in trouble with the IRS and make sure this is considered reimbursement for or coverage for long-term care medical costs, you can't just take out a check for $1 million
Nope.
and go to, the Bahamas or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
You have to take out monthly checks and go to the
Yeah,
Bahamas.
yep.
Yeah, okay, got it. All right, great. Go ahead, let's go
All
to the next
right,
slide.
let's talk about a scenario. So we have Maria. She's 72 years old. She was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. She lost motor function in legs and arms, and she needs $42,000 for assisted living. As you can see, Parkinson's disease, it's pretty high for like medication treatments, $2,500 a year, and then also the therapeutic surgery costs up to $100,000.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead. So she started her IUL at age 60. She has that Lifetime Foundation Elite. She does have the selected face amount of $200,000 with a monthly premium of $700.
Okay, so real quick, let me highlight this. So
Yes.
this is an example of a client that purchased an IUL, now a Lifetime Foundation
Yes.
versus a Lifetime
And
Builder,
Builder.
but an IUL nonetheless at age 60, not at age 35 or 25, okay? Now she's putting in $700 a month. That might sound like a lot, but think about what that gets her as far as, yes, a $200,000 tax-free death benefit, but also she's essentially getting not only the ability to give money to her loved ones, or to her spouse or whoever it is, but also satisfy long-term care. So yeah, keep going. That's a
All
good
right.
scenario.
All right, so let's look at, so she was 72 when she was diagnosed with Parkinson's. So if we look over at policy year 12, 672, look over, she has $97,465 to access, which would cover that $42,000 that she was looking for. Or she could go to the death benefit and get $299,392 to put
Okay.
towards long-term care.
Okay, great. And the surgery up to $100,000, medication $2,500, all of that could be encompassed
Encompassed,
with
yep.
the death benefit here. So, and one of the things I want to point out is regardless of, she didn't know at age 60 she was going to be
No.
diagnosed.
No.
Okay? Muhammad Ali didn't know, heavyweight champ, and he was champ 4 times, which no one else has
No,
done to my
yeah.
knowledge. Actually, I think Holyfield might be up there. But anyways, he didn't know he was going to be diagnosed with Parkinson's
Yeah.
disease. So when she purchased this policy, it still had benefits. I mean, look at age 70, she had paid $84,000, and it was worth $74,000 cash, but $277,000 tax-free, right? So these things have a lot of benefit, even if you don't know what your health is going to be. And let's face it, we don't know when or where we're going to die or
No,
how.
you don't know.
And we don't know what our health's going to be later on.
No.
You know, so it's a great, again, it's that Swiss Army knife idea. And then age 72, she's diagnosed with Parkinson's. She has the option to take out just cash or to access the death benefit up to
Yeah.
$1 million.
No, so that point it's only up to $1 million depending on the policy. So it's only at $299.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm saying if
Yeah.
she had a
Yeah, if she did have that $1 million, she could
Okay, but up to her
access
full death benefit,
Yes.
$299.
Yeah,
Okay,
correct.
great. Okay, awesome.
All right, and that's kind of all I have today. So I just wanted to remind everybody that it is free. So I don't take any, any cuts from your policies. So feel free to contact me either by email or phone. I'm available from 8 to 4 Monday through Friday.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Kim is a licensed agent. She also has her NSSA certification, so she understands how this works around Social Security and whatnot. And she is a corporate employee, so no splits, no nothing. She is paid, and she is here to help you. So please email her or call her, and I appreciate you putting your information out there.
Yep, and you even can text if you're on an appointment and need something real fast.
Great, awesome. Yeah, she's doing a great job, and she's helping a lot of agents, new agents and veteran agents alike, write IULs and understand some of these riders and which carriers we should use. Because we have quite a few of them now. I think we have like 5, 6 carriers,
Yep.
F&G, Protective, help me out here.
AIG,
thank you.
yep,
Global
Global
Atlantic,
and
Mutual of
Mutual
Omaha.
Omaha, yep.
Uh,
Sure, we'll be
5 really
adding
good
more.
carriers. Yeah, exactly. And I know that those can vary by state and then by need of the client. So
Yes.
she'll help you. She'll navigate through. You can go to Ask a Specialist or you can contact her directly. So Kim, thank you so
Yeah,
much for being
thank
on.
you
Great
for
to have you
having
on the
me.
call. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, Mike Killam at Family First Life here in Atlanta, Georgia. Just wanted to chat with you guys real fast about the new annuity levels. One thing you know about Family First Life, we've strived to give our agents the best possible chance to win with the highest compensation in the industry, and now we're mirroring that on the annuity side as well, and it's just awesome. It's a thing that should start August, I believe in August. Sean can correct me on that, but I think it does. And I mean, it starts at 5 as you pay, you get a percentage. So what you understand is annuity. If you sell 100,000, let's say you get paid 5% of whatever. That's how you get paid with the annuities. Well, ours starts, the lowest comp is going to be 5.25% and go all the way to 8.5%, which is the highest in the industry. Just like with our life insurance side, from 80 to 140, which is highest in the industry. So I'm really excited about the new compensation levels and how they're coming out, how it's more spelled out on how you can achieve each level and move up as an agent. Is just thank you for putting, Sean Mike, for putting this together, and Sean Ruggiero for working on it with Athene and everything, and getting it set up where it mirrors the annuity side, mirrors the life insurance side. Couldn't be more excited about that coming out, and just putting a new agent and a seasoned agent being able to offer them the highest comp possible in the industry on the annuity side. And I think the biggest thing with the annuities is I love I love the training. I love this call, how we do this and how we educate you guys on it. But one of the biggest things, I have a personal experience with it, is my father-in-law passed away this last fall, and he had $100,000 we did a few years ago with Athene, and he also had $100,000 with another company, same type vehicle. I'm not going to mention other company's name, but when he passed away, he was having to take his RMDs and everything out. But when he passed away, it just shows what a quality company Athene is. He had 101,000 left with Athene. He had 85,000 left with the other company. So I don't know what the other company was doing with the money and all that stuff. But what I do know, when you're sitting there with your client, 100% Athene is the best place to put your money. And just because I have a real life experience with it now. I mean, that's $15,000 difference in two different companies, and couldn't be prouder to be in business with them and with the new levels, and being able for a new agent to go out and sell an annuity could fund their business for 6 months, if it's done correctly. And couldn't be more excited about it. Thank you, Sean. Thank you for all the training and educating you do for the whole company, and helping our agents understand that basically the annuity is a savings account with an insurance company. It's not that complicated. And I think if you ask the question, hey, how's your safe money, you'll sell more annuities. Thanks, guys.